Hi, good morning everybody. My name is Joe.
And my name is Hans.
And we're here to talk about a very interesting topic for the software testing community, which is what is the direction of a software tester?
Yeah.
And it's a very, very important topic if you're a software tester. Especially if you are a software tester, and precisely because either you have like 15-20 years in the industry or you have 1 year experience, it's really, really important to know where you're going. And this hasn't been talked about much. As a line 1 manager, for example, I have questions like this, probably not on that directness, in that level of directness, but in many ways or form, like what's next for me or something like that.
Yeah.
How about you, Hans? What's your experience with like this kind of conversation for testers?
Yeah, actually, it's a broad question to start with,
Right.
and then it really is like nobody's really gonna give you the right answer. Different people, different testers have different answers, or even if you ask some prominent testers, they wouldn't even ask you the right answer that you're looking for. So it's kind of like
They give
it's
you
really,
the right answer. Yeah.
Yes, they don't really give the right answer. I mean, for
So
me,
have you asked this
yeah, I
to
tried.
many people?
I tried to ask some prominent testers around some of them abroad,
Right.
and then they'd always say it's kind of like, what specific question are you trying to ask? Something like that.
Yeah.
They don't really tell you the direction. They sometimes would ask you, what do you think is your direction?
Right.
It's going back to us as testers actually.
So, have you looked into this, and what did you find out?
Yeah, I've looked into this, and then what I found out is that there isn't actually a concrete direction as to where you're going to as a tester, because different companies have different needs, right? So you have to adapt as a tester. You have to adapt into the needs of those companies. So it came into my mind that you could actually, there isn't really the right answer or the concrete direction for a software tester. You actually have to do it on your own. You actually have to create your direction.
So basically, like what you're saying is, like, if you're looking for a clean cut answer of or steps in terms of, okay, like for this year you'll be at this level as a software tester, or next year, and so on and so forth. There isn't. You're saying that there's no such thing, that no such plan.
There is even a lot of debate about it.
Right. And when the thing is, I like the idea what you mentioned a while ago, like different organizations have different needs, and so you got to adapt. So it brings us to a point of when you talk about being adaptable, regardless of what organization you're currently helping, what would be the key things that a tester would possess?
Yeah, for me, there are 3 key things that a tester should possess.
At least
should
3
have.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's just start with 3, because there are actually
There's a lot, yeah.
There's actually a lot, but we could start off with 3 that we think of that is helpful for a tester to start creating his own direction. So first is that he has to increase his competence as a tester.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the next one is he has to build his portfolio as a tester. And then the last one we could think of is to actually gain his connection, or gain a connection between other testers, and share his knowledge about testing, and also gain knowledge from other testers as well.
So can you elaborate more on increasing competency? How do I actually increase my competency, and what are the specific competency that I can probably focus on?
Well, from the question you asked, it's very broad. Like, when you say what competency, like, you have to ask specific questions about what you want to what you want to build as a tester. You know. So, but when I started trying to build my own competency as a tester, we have to study about testing, all about testing. So there are a lot of websites or articles in the web, the internet, because actually when you ask those competencies within your company, sometimes you feel like it isn't enough, like it won't apply in the context of what I'm doing. So, but I would suggest that you could actually start off by looking into some of the key, or should I say, right websites that you're gonna look into.
So you're probably gonna share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Perfect,
probably
perfect.
gonna share. So you could actually join into other communities as well, not just this community that we've created.
Right.
So you can to again study testing and study your own way of testing as well, and get what you want, and get what you need in order for you to create your own direction. So I could suggest three communities that you could actually look into. So first one is the Ministry of Testing. So you could actually look at it in the web, and then
What's in there? Can you give us a brief?
It's actually again, it's another community of software testers, and you gotta learn how other software testers from other
Organizations, company,
or even other testers do
around the world.
Yeah, their own their tests, and you
Right.
could actually look at some articles there as well. And another one is the Software Testing Club, and then it's basically has the same theme. And also last one I guess is utest.com. So
Yeah.
there are also a lot of articles there. You could get viewpoints from other testers, and then try to experiment them, and try to apply them in the way you do testing.
Right.
Yeah. So I
So
guess-
you can go to these sites and basically like they are a membership for free, or
Yeah, the membership are just free, but we have to actually do this to actually gain more knowledge about how actually are people doing when it regards to testing.
So just out of curiosity, how often do you check this site? Like in a weekly basis, for example, how many hours do you usually spend on this?
Hours, like I'm busy with my work as well.
Right. That just basically, I'd like the guys to have an idea like how much investment do I really put in terms of hours?
I
right?
couldn't really specify the number of hours.
Yeah, but
because
for
it
you,
depends.
but for you, it's like for you, on an average,
That's a bit of a hard question.
in a month, for example, do you check this site like?
I check them
Regularly?
often. I check them often because
Every week?
because once you are a member of such clubs, you get to have some updates or articles that are gonna be sent to
Send
you.
your mail, right?
Yeah, it's in your email, and then
Right.
when I see that it is interesting, so I'll just have to click on them, read on them, learn
Right,
about
right.
them, view some, read comments of prominent testers or other testers as well, and get their viewpoints about the topic.
Yeah. Probably a URL I'd like to add to what you mentioned, and this is not a community. This is more like a place where like I get updates also for technology, and this goes back to like particular competence or so for software testing. Would be InfoQ.
InfoQ, yeah.
.com.
I'm also
Have you checked that out?
yeah, but I haven't got a lot of tests articles there. But there are sometimes.
For me, like
tests,
when
yeah.
I learned a lot about, there were articles about unit testing and all that,
Yeah.
and that was very, very important to me back then.
Yeah.
So
Again, it depends on the
Yeah.
context, and it
Right.
depends on what you need, actually, in order
Right.
for you to be able to be better at what you're currently doing now.
Just a quick question on like right now the themes. Have you seen like patterns, for example, like what particular competence that software testers are converging into, for example?
Yeah, I think there's a pattern, and I agree. I actually agree with the pattern that other testers are actually, prominent testers are actually looking into, and that is from the start of this conversation. There isn't really best practices in software testing. There are only good practices,
Right.
good approach
Right.
in different contexts of what you're doing. Actually,
Right.
of what the project you are currently working on. So actually, that's the pattern.
So
We could expand
it's
about it,
more of
but
it's more of like the pattern is there's no pattern as well.
Yeah,
Is
there's
that-
no-
That's very interesting, but I didn't know that.
I don't know. If,
I was
I don't know if
thinking-
that is the right term.
I
but
was
there's
thinking
no
that,
pattern,
like,
really.
Like is the testing community converging to like, for example, automation tests or something? I don't know. That's my feeling in the organization that I'm in. Is that true? I don't know.
For
Like,
me, it's not true because again, it depends on the context. If as a software tester, if you need to automate something, then you have to automate that because there is a need to automate it.
right.
But it actually doesn't mean that all software testers should be into test automation.
Right. But then I was thinking about like the a certain skill or competence that people are certainly like talking about is, I don't know. I haven't been into the sites that you mentioned though.
Yeah. there are again a lot of skills or topics or approach that are being discussed there.
Right.
But but in my point of view, are you asking me if what?
Yes, I am. I'm asking you in terms of I'm asking you of like if you've seen this particular articles. Like for example, I subscribe to like agile websites and agile organization, and I get like
okay.
Converging
I
thought.
now.
Like for example, for now it's more of like in the past it was more of like release planning, and a lot of it is really focused on release planning and or estimation.
Actually, there is this movement that
Yeah.
I'm into, that I am also studying and also trying to apply in whatever in the works that I'm doing. It's actually again from the start of this conversation is the context-driven testing movement.
Right.
So it has really.
So it's been talked about.
Yeah, it
frequently.
has been talked about frequently
Okay.
in the web.
Yeah.
So I guess
I just wanna the reason I'm asking that question is I want you guys to like see maybe like a more concrete example, for example.
yeah. If you know, if you want to learn more about context-driven testing, then you could actually just look it up in the web.
But
So
we're gonna talk about it in future episode.
Yeah, we'll just talk about
Okay,
it in the
cool.
future, not
Alright.
now.
Not now. Okay, so next step.
The next step would be building your portfolio. So how about you, Joseph? So do you have some
Yeah. So
suggestions?
portfolio building is very important in the line that we're in the software development experience industry. I mean, so if you're working on time out, sorry. Balik. Let's just keep this going. I'm so sorry. So we are actually in a location where nobody was around, and so we're just shocked that someone approached us. Anyway, so portfolio-based thinking is, and I don't know who coined that, but portfolio-based thinking is very important in software industry. Regardless you're a tester, developer, or someone in the project management field, or in the Scrum Master, basically like very important. So I guess the idea for you after you build your competency or increase your competency is really think about your portfolio, because your portfolio is like an evidence of your learning. So one thing to learn something, the other thing is to have evidence, and look at your portfolio and see maybe a pattern like, okay, these are the things that I really want to do, and so in the future these are the things that I want to focus on.
The proof of your competency is
exactly yeah. So portfolio it's something that I'd like to share to you. Portfolio based thinking is something I really like to share to you guys, because if you think about it, all the things that you're working on is really part of your experience now, and it's now becoming part of who you are. And if you think about building your portfolio, you'll always be thinking about what's the next competency, or is the project that I'm working on gonna help me build that competency, right?
Correct.
So regardless whether you're doing like a mobile project, look at the competency that you're building there, and then, or like if you learn something new in all this like website, right?
Yeah.
And you practice that in your project, that will become part of your portfolio. And so it's like maybe you did like context-driven testing, or I don't know what's other methodologies that you have, or you did automation on a particular project. It becomes part of your portfolio, so it sort of guides you in terms of like building this map that you have for your career.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, actually, I agree to that. And also another way of building your portfolio for me is actually, broaden your horizon in software testing. It's just not if you have opportunities to help other communities as well. Like some of these communities are actually asking for like something like bug bash, for example. Then they're actually asking for some testers there. You could actually help them as well and work for free.
Yeah, so don't be scared if you work for free, because again, you're not working for the money, you're working for the experience,
and
you're working for the portfolio, right?
Yeah.
And like for example, I've heard that like some open source community even wants their software to be tested. Of course, they might not pay you, but that doesn't matter really. In the long term, you have to think about this from a long term perspective, especially if like you're still new in the software industry, you have like 1 to 2 years. Man, why don't you invest like some hours, for example, in the open source community, right? And that would be part of your portfolio. That would be something that the experience would be totally different from a regular guy,
Yeah,
regular
it's
tester
gonna really
who didn't
broaden
really
your-
do anything.
Yeah,
Right?
it's gonna really help you a lot in your mindset with regards to testing, and you know, it gives you a broader picture rather than if you're too focused on one thing that you're currently doing.
So, but if you, the other thing is, so in Cebu City, there's an incubator, business incubator there
Yeah.
in the University of the Philippines.
Yep.
You can knock on their doors and say, hey, I'm gonna give you like 20 to 40 hours a month of free testing.
Correct, correct.
I'm gonna test your software for free, and you'll be part of that experience, of startup experience also. And
Yeah.
and you know, it's like it's a different experience for you. It's a different portfolio again for you.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of opportunities if you want to just focus on building your portfolio, and so we invite you to that very experience, because if you just stick within the organization and testing, and then I hear this, I would tell you, like, I've interviewed people who's applying for the job, and these are testers, and they would say, well, my company, I'm just testing this software for like 15 years now, and I really want to try something new. In my mind, it's like, who's stopping you to try something new? Do
Correct.
you need to move out of your company just to try something new?
Correct.
I mean, you know, there are a lot of opportunities out
Correct,
there, and so
correct.
that's very, very important. I hope you get the point of this, because this is very, very key. You know, aside from building your competency, try something new on your own time. You
Yeah.
actually have your Saturday and Sunday, and yeah, instead of
It
watching a
depends on you.
movie, right?
Yeah.
or your teleseries, I mean, you know, just invest like 2 to 3 hours testing something
Yeah.
for a good cause, right?
Yeah.
Does the government look? Is the government looking for free testers?
I haven't seen one yet. though.
Hopefully the
but
government.
hopefully if they have,
yeah,
then
because like
why
if you
not?
would test like I don't know, a pag-ibig website or something, you know, that's nice.
LTO.
LTO or something, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
next point, I guess, because
Yeah.
we're almost running out of time.
Yeah, so the last key area that we want to share to you again is building your connection. Share what you've learned, just like what we're doing now.
Right.
Help other testers, and then and get their viewpoints. And in this experience as well, you gotta learn, and you gotta check and evaluate where you are through talking to other testers as well. You gotta learn a lot through sharing as well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one key about sharing. No, first thing about this is it's really about connection.
Correct.
It's really about building the more. You need to have more friends who are testers. I mean, you know, it's different when you talk to them. You get to share the experience.
Correct.
Not only that, the competence that you have built, and is something that you can use to provide value in these types of relationship. For example, that you learn something new,
Right.
and you share it with other testers. It multiplies that, and in a way it practices your maybe I'd say leading skills. You're one of the leaders now of a certain practice, because that's something that you're passionate about, and you're able to share it.
Yeah.
And so all these things in terms of connection is very powerful. One quotation that really came to my mind is, you cannot succeed in a cave.
Correct.
So if you learn something and you just stay in your own shell, it's not you do, that success will not multiply. So but when you started talking to other people, even within your organization, even within the city, look for testers, and that's exactly what we're
Trying to do.
We want to unite the testers and say, hey, we can do better. There are things that we can share together. You have something in you that you definitely can share to, and that's very, very valuable to the community. So I guess, you know, let me do a recap before we forget the points. The first one was increase your competency. The second one was
build your portfolio.
building your portfolio, and the third one is about connection.
Again, connection.
So
Yeah.
if you forget about it, it's C
P,
for competency, P for portfolio, and C for
S for
S for sharing or connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
So think about those things, because it's very, very important for you as a software tester.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else to add?
I don't want to make this 20-minute movie
Yeah.
or video.
So
But,
we're trying to
So I
trying to
guess
limit this
that's
to 20 minutes.
That's all we have that we could share. Hopefully you could give us comments and suggestions, or
Or if you have any thoughts, you can
Thoughts
add.
as
Like
well.
maybe there's like a fourth thing or a fifth thing. It doesn't really matter, because
yeah,
what you have is very, very valuable. We'd like to hear from you.
Okay. That's it.
That's it. So next episode, we don't know what we're gonna talk about yet, but definitely if you check out the survey, you're gonna see the topics that we're probably gonna tackle on. All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.